brothers and sisters, let us continue the book reading Reality at Dawn, written by Babuji Maharaj, chapter The Goal of Life. The final point of approach is where every kind of force, power, activity, or even stimulus disappears, and a man enters a state of complete negation, nothingness, or zero. That is the highest point of approach of the final goal of life. I have tried to express it by the diagram. The concentric circles drawn round the center C roughly denote the different spiritual spheres we come across during our progress. Beginning our march from the outermost circle, we proceed towards the center, crossing each circle to acquire the next stage. It is a very vast expanse. If I speak of liberation, people will think it to be a very far off thing which can be achieved by persistent efforts for a number of lives. In the diagram, the state of liberation lies between the second and third circles. The various conditions we have to pass through in order to secure liberation are all acquired within about a circle and a half. This may help the reader to form a rough idea of what still remains to be achieved after we have reached the point of liberation, which really, as commonly believed, is not an ordinary achievement. After achieving this state, we go on further, crossing other circles till we cross the fifth one. This is the stage of Avyakta Gati, undifferentiated state. At this stage, a man is totally free from the bounds of Maya. Very few of the sages of the past could reach up to this position. Raja Janaka was one of those who could secure his approach to this state. His achievements were considered to be so great that even the prominent rishis, sages of the time, used to send their sons and disciples to him for training. The region of heart, as described in my book Efficacy of Raja Yoga, is now crossed, and now we enter the mind region. After crossing the fifth circle, the 11 circles after this depict the various stages of egoism. The condition there is more subtle and grows finer still as we march on through the region. By the time we reach the 16th circle, we are almost free from egoism. The condition at this stage is almost inconceivable and has rarely been attained by even the greatest of the sages. As far as my vision goes, I find among the ancient sages none except Kabir who could have crossed this approach up to this stage, that is, the 16th circle. What remains when we have crossed this circle is a mere identity, which is still in a gross form. We now enter the central region. There too you will find 7 rings of something. I may call it light for the sake of expression, which we cross during our march onwards. The form of dense identity, as I have called it, grows finer and subtler to the last possible limit. We have now secured a position which is nearmost to the center, and it is the highest possible approach of man. There we are in close harmony with the very real condition. Complete merging with the center is, however, not possible so as to maintain a nominal difference between God and soul. Such is the extent of human achievement which a man should fix his eyes upon from the very beginning if he wants to make the greatest progress on the path of realization. Very few among the saints and yogis of the world have ever had any conception of it. Their farthest approach is in most cases had been up to the second or the third circle at the utmost, and it is unfortunate that even at this preliminary stage they sometimes considered their achievements to be very great. I have given all this only to enable people to judge those so-called great doctors of divinity who are said to have attained perfection and are generally accepted as such by the ignorant masses who judge their worth only by their outward form or elegance. Here, Babuji Maharaj is saying that the final point of human approach is where every kind of force, power, activity, or even stimulus disappears. And then a man enters a state of complete negation, nothingness. That means nothing will remain there, or the condition of zero. That is the highest point of approach or the final goal of our life. Babuji Maharaj have tried to express it by the diagram. The concentric circles drawn round the center C. It roughly denotes the different spiritual spheres we come across during our progress. So we begin our march from the outermost circle, and then we proceed towards the center, crossing each circle to acquire the next stage. That means we march towards the center by attaining different stages or state of conditions that has been clearly depicted in the line diagram by Babuji Maharaj. Babuji Maharaj is saying that it is a very vast expanse. If Babuji Maharaj speak of liberation, people will think that it is a very far off thing which one can achieve by persistent efforts for a number of lives. That means it cannot be achieved in one life or in this lifetime. One has to do sadhana to achieve this for number of lives. Whereas in the diagram what Babuji Maharaj has given us, in that the state of liberation lies just between the second and the third circles. The various conditions we have to pass through in order to secure the liberation are all acquired within about a circle and half. That is, just if we cross 1.5 circle, we pass through various conditions in order to secure liberation. And then this will help the reader to form a rough idea of what still remains to be achieved after we reach the point of liberation. As commonly believed, the liberation is not an ordinary achievement, isn't it? But after achieving this state of liberation, we go on further crossing other circles till we cross the 5th one. So this is the stage of Avyakta Gati, Babuji Maharaj is saying. This is undifferentiated state. At this stage, what happens? A man is totally free from the bounds of Maya. Here Babuji Maharaj has shown us in this diagram the 3 bifurcations. That is, one is stages of Maya and stages of egoism, central region, and finally the center. So the first region, that is the stages of Maya, it consists 5 circles. We start our journey from the first circle and go on crossing it. And then when one reaches or crosses the 5th one, then the stage of Avyakta Gati commences in him. That means at this stage, man will be totally free from the bounds of Maya, because we are entangled in the bondages or clutches of this world. This entire world is under the bondages of Maya. When one crosses these circles, 5 circles of Maya, through his sadhana and by the grace of Master, he will be freed from the bounds of Maya. When one is freed from the bounds of Maya, the condition is named as Avyakta Gati, undifferentiated state. Babuji Maharaj is saying that very few of the sages of the past could reach up to this position, and Raja Janaka was one of those who could secure his approach to this state. But in those days, his achievements were considered to be so great, even though he crossed only these 5 circles. And even the prominent rishis, sages of that time, they used to send their children or sons and disciples to him for training them. Training of Brahma Vidya from Raja Janak. And then what comes? The region of heart, as described in Babuji Maharaj's Efficacy of Raja Yoga, is now crossed, and now we enter the mind region. So, dear brethren, it is clear that these 5 circles of stages of Maya, it lies in heart region. When one crosses the 5th circle, then he crosses the heart region, as well as he is freed from the bondages of Maya, and the state of condition is Avyakta Gati. And after crossing the heart region, then one enters the mind region. See here in this diagram, the stages of egoism. It is there in mind region. There are 11 circles that depicts the different stages of egoism. We may call a person egoistic just looking at the grosser form of his ego. But here Babuji Maharaj is saying that this condition of ego becomes more subtle and grows finer still as we march on through the region. That means just for outlook, a person's ego cannot be gauged. It will be even in a subtler and finer stages. So, by the time we reach the 16th circle, after crossing all these 15 circles, we are almost free from egoism. Then, what will be the condition? At that state, the condition is almost inconceivable and has rarely been attained by even the greatest sages of India. And as far as Babuji Maharaj's vision, he found among the ancient sages none except Kabir who could have secured his approach up to this stage, that is the 16th circle. Then what remains there? Because the bondages of Maya is not there, and the bondages of egoism is not there, then what remains when one crosses this circle? There remains mere identity, but it is still in a gross form. And now, when we enter the central region, there too we will find 7 rings of light. Babuji Maharaj has called it as light for the sake of expression. And when we cross during our march onwards these 7 rings of light, the form of density of identity will grow finer and subtler to the last possible limit. But the identity will be there, but it becomes more finer and subtler. Why that identity will remain? Now the question will come. Though we have secured the nearest position to the center and the highest possible approach of man, there we are in close harmony with the very real condition, but complete merging with the center is, however, not possible. Why? So as to maintain a nominal difference between God and soul. That difference should be there. That's why that identity will be there in its subtlest form. Babuji Maharaj is saying that this is the extent of human achievement, and a man should fix his eyes upon this from the very beginning of our practice, if at all he wants to make the greatest progress on the path of realization. So, dear brethren, it is a message for all of us. We have to fix our eyes from the very beginning to achieve that highest state of human approach. And very few among the saints and yogis of the world had ever had any conception of it, because many people don't know about it. That's what Babuji Maharaj is saying. They are not aware of it at all. So their farthest approach in most cases had been up to the 2nd or the 3rd circle at the most. That's it. And really, it is an unfortunate thing that even at these preliminary stages, They sometimes consider themselves or their achievements to be very great. So Babuji Maharaj is saying that he has given all this only to enable people, that is we people, to judge those so-called great doctors of divinity, they will call themselves, who are said to have attained perfection and are generally accepted as such by the ignorant masses, who judge their worth just only by their outward form or elegance. So this is the pettiest condition, of course. Just to analyze the spiritual elevation of a person, Babuji Maharaj has explained everything in detail. And one thing what I wanted to just share with you is that, so when we see this diagram with all these circles, many people will get confused. So what is this circle, or what are these rings, these 5 circles of Maya and 11 circles of stages of egoism and 7 rings of splendor, all those things? They will be confused. So here it is very easy to understand. Why I am saying it is very easy to understand is that it is nowhere else to search or to understand. It is there within us only. Because we are bound to this world, glittering world, which is the sphere of Maya, and it is very much related to our heart. We are connected with our heart. So we are bound to this Maya. When we start our journey with our sincere practice, we cross all these circles one after the other by the grace of Master. Then our internal condition, we feel as if we are detached from the Maya or worldly bondages. This is nothing but crossing the heart region. And what happens then? We enter into mind region. That's what Babuji Maharaj is saying. So mind region, I am unable to understand. No, nothing is there in that. It is very easy to understand. See, we know very well about our ego. Everybody knows about their ego. But everybody will think that we are not egoistic. That is the funniest part. Okay. But here, Babuji Maharaj is saying that when one proceeds in this path of spiritual journey, they crosses the different stages of egoism. By the grace of Master, what happens inside? Our ego starts melting. It starts melting. A layer after layer will slowly melt away. Those layers are nothing but these rings, these stages of egoism. So when one feels completely surrendered to Master and not even an iota of that I-ness or that ego, I can say it as ego, because I-ness becomes the identity. This is ego, ahankar. When it melts away, then he crosses the 16th circle and enters into the central region. then only that identity remains, that is I. And even that identity becomes subtler and subtler. And finally, when it reaches the circle, which is very much near to the center, then one achieves his goal of life. This is called the march to freedom. Babaji Maharaj has said it like that. So, dear brethren, now we got a clear idea about our goal and what are all the things that we are going to cross during the march. So, keeping all these things in view, let us do our sadhana with sincerity, dedication, love, and faith in Master. With this, I conclude today's satsang. Let us know more aspects in the forthcoming satsang. With this, even this chapter concludes. During our next satsang, we can read the next chapter, Ways and Means. Till then, I take leave. Pranams. Namaste.